Twisted Travelers Podcast, your weekly dose of theme park news and entertainment. And now, here to talk all things coasters, theme parks, and even more, here are your hosts, Jack Lathrop and Chris Jones.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Twisted Travelers Podcast. As always, I am Chris, and I am joined by Jack. Jack, how we doing?
We're doing good. Pretty typical week, but, all things considered, it's going pretty good.
Okay, so, first things first. Sorry about last week. We had nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it was a weird week. If you kept up with news on your own, you know that absolutely nothing of note happened. And then that combined with me just being overtired, and y'all probably didn't want an episode of me going for an hour.
But we're back now.
And we've got some good stuff coming, so don't worry. The week off was completely worth it because the next couple weeks are going to be awesome.
That's right. So, before we get into everything, we've got some Patreon shoutouts to get through. Shout out to our patrons, Bryant, Graham, Grant, Jaden, Mark, Allison and Steven, Eric, and Mikhail. If you want to join the Patreon, the link is in the description. You get a bunch of exclusive stuff, some cool mail every once in a while, private chat in the Discord server. If you're interested, link is down below.
Who knows? One of you might even get a calendar.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Are you going to do plugs?
I'm going to do plugs. Sorry, it's definitely was like, okay, so plugs. To make sure you're up to date on all things Twisted Travelers, you're going to want to follow us on Instagram at Twisted_Travelers, Twitter at Twisted Traveler, but the R at the end is a 1. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Thrilling Moment, and you can follow Chris at Twisted Travelers. Chris, again, right. Follow us for all of the fun content and updates on the show and what's happening. Also, if you want a calendar, so here's my shameless plug. If you want a calendar, they're $20 shipped anywhere in the United States. They're going fast. I have 25 left, and they will be gone very quickly. Don't wait. If you want a calendar, DM me on Twitter or Instagram. Join the Discord and at me. We'll make it happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go buy his stuff. But that should do it for plugs. So we've got a pretty short news, a new ride of the week, go over fantasy, some listener questions, and then a bit of a different second half of the show. So let's hop into news. And to start off, we got a lot of repaintings. Mr. Freeze at Six Flags Over Texas is being repainted to the standard blue on blue, changing it from the red that it had before. I'm not a fan, but, whatever.
Yeah, we talked about this a bit the other day. I like the color change. I think it fits the Freeze theme a little bit more than the red and blue. Although I know Chris's argument's going to be ice cream as soon as I stop talking. So, which, it's hard to argue with ice cream. I do like the colors, though. I think it's going to be a cool looking color scheme. Although the world does have, a ton of blue roller coasters. So there is that. I will say, the biggest thing about this repaint, I am extremely happy I decided not to go over Texas this weekend. Because if this ride had been closed, the whole trip would just have not been worth it. Because, I'm sorry, Freeze honestly is the ride I'm hyped for most at that park, and that park's got new Texas Giant and Titan.
Well, Titan's whatever, but
I Goliath though, so I kind of have expectations for Titan.
Yeah, and Goliath's not good either. Anyways, Freeze, I just like the uniqueness that the red gave it. It was a lot different having a red on blue like that. But whatever. Blue on blue is kind of boring in my opinion, but do your thing. So yeah, Freeze it over Texas getting repainted. And then another ride that's getting repainted. What?
I was going to say the same thing. Another ride that's getting repainted is Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood. Going from the teal to, what are they calling it? Like petrifying purple or something like that.
Yes, I like it. I like what we've seen in pictures so far.
Yeah, the pictures look good, and then everyone I've talked to has said it looks even better in person. Uh, I can't wait. The couple of things that I want to happen with this though is, can we bring back the like dual toned trains where they had the purple and the teal on one train with like chrome lining? Please, Kennywood, make me happy. And then I'm really just looking forward to seeing how much it impacts the Kennywood skyline, because that coaster is iconic. You drive up and it was teal and black, and it's gonna be purple and black. So it's gonna be weird driving up to Kennywood maybe next summer or the summer after and seeing it not be the same color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks good so far. I think I wasn't a fan of the change originally because the teal was a bit more unique, but I think for what we've seen so far, this is a solid change. I'll accept it.
You know what I think? Something no one's mentioned. I think it's gonna look really good when it's snowed.
Yeah.
Like the just white with the purple and black sticking out of it's gonna be really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the last ride that's getting repainted is Sidewinder at Hershey Park. So we were wrong. I wish it was getting torn down, but it's not, sadly.
So yeah, you can just go back to that episode and just draw a giant X through, the first prediction and the one where we predicted a ride was going to go in its plot, because, well, we were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about these colors.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I just want it gone. I don't have an opinion.
I mean, that's fair. I was thinking, part of me wants to believe that they're repainting it because they can't have two brown coasters, because people were getting Sidewinder and Candemonium confused, which seems hard to believe, but I have no doubt in my mind a GP has figured out how to get Sidewinder and Candemonium confused because they were both brown. But yeah, in the end, it's a boomerang. Why do you still have it, Hershey? You're one of the best parks. You don't need a boomerang.
They don't need it. I wish it was getting taken out, but it's not. It's turning green. Uh, whatever.
Yeah, that's about how that goes. So Hershey, you still have time to accidentally knock it over while you're painting it if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that for sure. But
What if they sold the track slices for $287?
no, that joke is so old, man.
that's, that's only been like a
Anyways.
year and a half now, but
Yeah, it's been being used for a year and a half. That's a long time.
we've been making fun of Marcus for passing out for well
It's
over
Marcus,
that.
of course. Yeah, he deserves it.
We love you, Boo.
Nah. Anyways. Anyways, enough of repainting. Tron vehicles are on site.
This makes me very happy. Yeah, so we were with some friends and they're like, so when are y'all gonna go to Disneyland? And my dad and I are both like, when Tron opens.
Yep,
So
you're gonna go to
trains showing
Disneyland when
up.
Tron opens.
Yeah, so Disneyland, Disney World when Tron opens, and it's like, yeah, the trains are on site, so we're getting closer. I'm still not expecting it to open until next summer, but still, we're getting closer.
Mm-hmm. It's a step in the right direction. I have no prediction of when it's going to open. I'm just kind of rolling with it. We'll see.
I can't wait to see it start testing. You're gonna have to send me all of the videos of it testing.
Of course, I'll be there. But yeah, good. Step in the right direction. Keep going, Disney. Okay.
Speaking of Florida coasters doing stuff, I can't believe we're about to admit we're hyped for this thing again.
Yep. Quasi. Welcome back.
Quasi. It's alive. It's very much alive.
It's flying.
So what was this? A couple days ago, Midway Mayhem fan. Good lord, I'm tired and thinking of other crazy things. Midway Mayhem, not Midway Mayhem fan. That's Sarah, and she's doing other stuff. No, Midway Mayhem Dan was at Busch Gardens bright and early, filming them doing test runs of Gwazi. And yeah, I'll
flying.
let you talk about it.
Yeah, it's moving. It looks like it's going way too fast, which definitely builds the hype back for me. I'm excited for it to open whenever it does actually open. But if it runs at those speeds, it's gonna be pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the death roll in the back row looks like it actually could cause death.
Yeah, good
Um,
way to go.
and then the overbank that follows looks like it could kill you with positives.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the ride just looks messed up too.
Yeah. I'm cool with it.
So when I was out at RMC talking to Jake, he's ridden it. And he's ridden most of RMC's coasters, and he says the death roll is the best element on any of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, huh?
Good to know.
He got to do it in the back row on that right seat where you're gonna experience all of the whip and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Florida's just gonna have all the good zero Gs.
Florida, so with Velocicoaster and Iron Gwazi, and then Kumba and Hulk, you're gonna have like 4 super whippy coasters all in one state, and I'm slightly jealous.
Mm-hmm. I'll take it. And speaking of Florida coasters, Mummy is getting renovated, and Shrek is gone forever. So, with Mummy, good. Make it all of its effects work reliably, please. They've done stuff over the years, and it hasn't completely
I
worked perfectly.
know we've talked about it before. Did I get a good ride
Yes.
on?
Yeah, you
Okay,
did.
okay.
But if they can make it work more reliably, that's a win. Shrek being gone, whatever. It's all right. Something good will come in its place, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay. So Mummy is a phenomenal roller coaster. There's no need in deny. All of you people who say it's not good clearly haven't ridden it in the back row with some room.
Are there people who say that?
Yeah, there's a whole group of people who think it's overrated.
Oh, well, what were you expecting? Whatever.
I don't know what they were expecting. I know what I was expecting, and it's a lot better than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting like Blazing Fury was basically what I was expecting going in.
Yeah, you crazy.
I didn't know anything about it. I've never watched the POV. But yeah, I'm extremely jealous of all of you going to Stumble because you're going to get to ride it. And I'm not going to get to ride it until like late next year because I'm not going to Stumble. And I'm very jealous of all of you getting to ride it in November. Shrek, honestly, I have no freaking clue what it is. I don't know where it is in the park. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. I don't know why it's got a cult following, except for the fact that it's Shrek.
I don't care that it's leaving, so that's all you need to know.
So I only seriously, where is it in the park?
Across from Minions.
Oh, I vaguely remember walking past it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gone.
Good riddance.
I wouldn't say that, but whatever.
I mean, are you happy it's leaving or are you sad it's leaving?
I don't care. I'm in the middle.
Well,
either way,
we'll kick it out. So that's gonna get us through our weekly news. So we're getting to that point of the year, not that much to talk about, but we'll try to make up for it. And we're going to do that with our next segment, which is Ride of the Week. So we just finished off a wheel of intimate accelerators. And now we're moving on to one that was suggested by one of our friends and fans. He's in our Discord. We all know him and love him. It's Grant. And he threw out the idea of Morgan Hypers.
Mm-hmm.
So for the next 4 weeks, we're going to talk about either the Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood, Steel Eel at Six. I am hitting all the points tonight. SeaWorld San Antonio, Monorail at Worlds of Fun, or Steel Force at Dorney Park.
He's talking about Mamba when he says monorail.
Monorail.
Anyways, I got the wheel ready, and I'm gonna spin. 3, 2, 1. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And Mamba.
Monorail. Let's see where to start. I think the best place to start with this is the monorail joke, which you wrote it in 2020. and you got off of it and texted me, and I think the text was it literally as a monorail, and I was like, "What? It's a Morgan Hyper. It's got to have some airtime, and have more than that." And then about 2 weeks later, I wrote it, and I got off, and I texted you. I was like, "No, you were right. That's a monorail."
Mm-hmm.
Um, this ride is just on paper. It looks like it should be good. The
Yeah.
stats say it should be good. But those trims kill this thing.
Mm-hmm. It um it takes forever to walk back to it, and then it's not worth it. You get on it, the first drop's meh, the first hill's meh, the turnaround's the best part, and then it's trimmed, and then there's nothing. The second half doesn't do anything, and that's where it's supposed to do stuff. Um,
It
it's just I feel bad saying a 200 plus foot ride is forceless, but this somehow is. I would rather ride spinning dragons. I'm not even gonna lie, and that makes me sound really entitled, and I hate that, but I'm sorry.
I mean, you're not wrong. I had more fun on spinning dragons than I did on Mamba. It's just like you said, the first drop, it's okay. It's not a great first drop, especially for a coaster over 200 feet. First hill has some very mild floater. The turnaround is arguably the best part, and you've got some good head choppers down there and a little bit of lateral. Best part of the ride. Hit the mid course, and then it just like goes in a straight line, and you're just going over hills leisurely, and you don't leave your seat. You
You
don't
don't
need a
feel the hills.
restraint. You don't need a seatbelt. I'm pretty sure you could like cook a 5-star meal on that return trip. It's so slow and boring. Um, and then, like you said, yeah, it's a hike to get back there, and for not that much. And it was my 250th roller coaster, and the only reason it was my 250th is because I was too prowler hungry that morning and couldn't resist. Um, and I honestly had more fun taking the picture for my 250th than I did riding it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Um,
That's all.
I will say I've talked to James some. I've talked to some other people, and apparently every once in a while they don't trim it, and then the return trip is fun. Maybe one day we'll get a ride on it like that, and they'll call it Mamba. But until then, it goes by the name Monorail.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give it a second chance, but I'm not expecting much.
I mean, if I'm at that park, it's getting 1 second chance, and then I'm marathoning Prowler.
Unless it somehow ends up being good, but it won't. So, you know,
Yep. And honestly, if I'm going back to Kansas City, you give me a choice between Worlds of Fun or going to get barbecue. I'm gonna pick barbecue because honestly, park's good, barbecue's better.
yeah. Um, that's
So
ride of the
yeah,
week.
ride of the week. We'll be back with one of the other three Morgan Hypers we've both ridden next week. So
Mm-hmm.
also
Okay.
tell us what
Oh,
you think of Mamba in the Discord, because
yes. Link in description.
yep,
Discord down below. All right, y'all. So, fantasy. Let's talk. Let's talk. Um, League home. I'm pulling up the scores. Okay, so fantasy last week. This shouldn't take too long. Start off first matchup, me versus Allison. My boy Leonard Fournette went off. AB, Aaron Jones doing their thing. Allison had Jonathan Taylor, Kyler Murray play pretty well. This was a good overall matchup, but I did come out on top thanks to my boy Lenny.
yeah. Renette is just ridiculous. Like we've talked in the Discord about him and texted. It's just ridiculous.
He balled this week. I love
Yeah.
him. Next matchup, we got Grant versus Perry. Grant was able to come out on top thanks
Yep.
to a surprising week from Noah Fant and Tua, while Perry had Tyreek Hill, and then everybody else was kind of meh.
And yeah, I mean, you look at people that would usually put up bigger numbers, like Lamar Jackson was just like, why not? Let's just throw an 11 out there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not a great week for Perry. Perry's been the one to watch though, because he was doing so bad, and he had that 1 week where none of us could have touched him.
Yeah,
And
because
then,
Tyreek went crazy.
mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about your matchup, which was against Bryant.
Yeah, it was a lot closer. So projections and looking at like the bench and everything, it was a lot closer. And then my team just didn't come through this week. Herbert was down, still without McCaffrey, although Mixon had a good week. Looking to
Nixon's
see.
always solid.
Yeah,
Robinson was good
Robinson
too.
had a good week. The rest of my team, they've done better. But then Bryant over here, just yeah, I was screwed with that alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lamb went crazy. Williams had a surprisingly good week. Diggs did his usual thing.
Yeah,
So,
Rogers had a decent week.
mhm.
Bryant's team just altogether performed well. Whereas I had a couple people do okay, the rest of the team just fell behind. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Good
Um,
job, Bryant. Congratulations. You've won against both the Lathrops now.
yes, good for Bryant. Man's popping off. Our next matchup is between your dad, Ben, and Marcus, two old guys.
Yeah, the old men of the group. And my dad has squeaked this one out. It's a decently close matchup.
He had
Hurts
Thielen
did
do his
really
thing.
good.
That's a big thing.
Harris, yeah, Thielen. And then Marcus,
Cooper Kupp is unstoppable. Henderson played good, but
Jones, that's not a good score. That literally, if you could have subbed anyone else's quarterback in and Marcus would have won, but
pretty much, yeah. So Ben comes out with the win, and then our last matchup, my dad, who is still undefeated, versus Steven. My dad has a big three of Henry, Mahomes, and Hopkins. So
yeah. And then
Steven's
Allen
team is
had a
just
good week. I don't know what else happened. Like, just looking down the list, it's all in single digits except for Patrick and Myers, and even those aren't great.
Just being completely honest, Steven's team is full of a lot of people that I would not expect to be starting on many other fantasy teams.
Yes.
Sorry, Steven. I don't know. I think it was a lot of injuries that led you to that point. That's bad, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, my dad's just rolling still.
Yeah, it was being discussed earlier in our Discord. I think we have like our villain. No offense to your dad, but he's the one that if like people want to stop now. So
yeah. But that's fantasy. I'm happy with this week because I got the win. I play my dad next week, so hopefully I can give him his first L.
Forward at next week, it's Jones versus Jones and Lathrop versus Lathrop. So Chris and his dad, me and my dad. And then besides that, we've got Allison versus Grant, Perry versus Bryant, and Steven versus Marcus. So going to be an interesting week. And then also just throwing it out there because I was curious and I had to go see when Chris and I play each other in week 11. So that week is not too awful far away and will be fun to watch.
Right. So our last little thing before we get into the second half. We got listener questions.
Real quick. Well, we're on sports. Go Braves. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Anyways, listener questions. All these come from the Discord, link in description. You can give us some every single week if you join. So that's cool.
Make sure you join too, because when we do listener questions and we have a guest on, we do them with our guest, and we'll tell you who the guest's going to be. It's Marcus Lashock. He's next week. You should go put questions in.
So let's do it. Listener questions. First one from Grant. With Lightning Rod rolling back, do you think they'll trim it less at the top? The track seems to be handling the forces better. I'm leaving this to you.
No. It is short and sweet. The track has nothing to do with it. It's the structure. They would have to redo most of the structure to be able to run it faster. No. That's as simple as that.
Quick and easy. Another question from Grant. What's the worst color scheme on a coaster to look at and for photos? I was thinking about this one, and there's not like a definitive one that I think is really bad, but I could probably list off a couple that I'm just not a fan of. For a while. Like Rip Ride Rocket, it's starting to fade. I'm not a fan.
That ride could use a repaint. Honestly, could probably be repainted different colors too and work better.
Yeah.
Or be torn out in favor of a B&M.
Okay, here's one that's will probably find interesting, some of y'all. Twisted Colossus in photos I always thought was too bright, but seeing it in person, I love it. There's a difference there for me.
Yeah, I remember because I would send you pictures of the Colossus and you'd be like, "It's so bright and doesn't look pretty." I'm like, dude, when you see it in person, you will
It was
understand.
my jaw dropped when I drove into that park.
It's like when you see that ride in person, it does things to you because it is so pretty, and you're like, "Huh? There's track there, and there's track there, and the trains are doing what?" Yeah. Speaking of rides at Magic Mountain, though, we've talked about this a bit. Scream doesn't
Yeah, I just
work
don't like the blue and orange.
perfectly well. We're definitely both Gator haters, so
Hmm.
also I will. It just doesn't work either because they built it on a freaking car park. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that just doesn't work. Also, color schemes that shouldn't happen is that god awful color scheme they're considering for Tatsu.
Yes, that's true as well. Um,
T3
yep,
roller coasters don't need like
McDonald's
solid.
ride.
Yeah, uh, Wonder Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman's
That's what
not
I
that
meant. Yeah.
great. I'm like I was really happy when they repainted Thunderhawk at Michigan's Adventure. Ride's still not the greatest in the world, but it looks a
Hmm.
lot better now.
Yeah, as you
Um,
can see, we could list off a lot for a while, but none of these are like so horrible that I absolutely hate them.
yeah, there's really not a color scheme on a ride I just absolutely despise. There's a lot of weird stuff in China that's like way bright, although it could be the same
Yes,
situation as Colossus. We could show up in person
it
and be like,
could
oh,
be.
that works a little better.
I
But
bet you that would happen with quite a few rides over there, but still,
I'm sorry, there does not need to be a neon pink roller coaster.
no, there does not. Um, Flight of the
Purple
Himalayan
is
Eagle, whatever, bright yellow.
oh lord, that ride. They were like, can we have highlighter? And
Yeah.
B&M was like, yeah, we can do that.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch. I will
Yeah.
say in photos, I really like the look of flying dinosaurs. That
Mm-hmm.
color green with the gray supports.
I think gray supports go with almost anything.
Yeah, and
Um,
if you make them like matte, it's great.
uh, and then super underrated colors are all black. Paint a ride all black. It's gonna look fresh. Or white track. There's not many roller coasters with white track, but trust me, they look fresh.
Hmm. Yeah, we could go on for a bit, but I think you get a couple examples at least.
Yep.
Okay. Question number 3 from Perry. What is the best season to take amusement park pictures during, and what's the best time to take pictures in general? Go ahead, sir.
I'm kind of curious what would happen if I made you answer this one, but I'll answer it first.
Okay, no, I'm just gonna go. Because of the Mystic Timbers picture fall.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. Um, yeah, definitely give me like late summer through fall. Late summer, you get all the really good blue skies and white fluffy clouds. Just usually it's really consistent. The lighting's usually great. Then fall, the colors. Honestly, how can you not fall in love with shooting fall colors? I know I'm going to Kings Island this weekend with John Mike, and the camera is going just so I can go up on the Eiffel Tower and take pictures of all the rides with all the pretty trees. Um, and yeah, fall is definitely the best. And then time of day, it's complicated. Sunset, yeah, give me golden hour, or I take sunrise too, but sunset golden hour is usually my favorite. But then there are certain rides. Fury is a great example. Fury 325, the way it sits in the morning, you've got the sun on it from the parking lot side, so you get all of the elements that face the parking lot lit up. But then in the afternoon, you get all the turns that are like facing in towards the park get lit up with light. So it really depends on the like time of day, which elements I shoot and which ones look better. But if you're gonna confine me to one time of day to shoot one time only, I'll take sunset.
What he said. All right. I can't add any more to this. I don't take enough pictures at parks. Um, Although, okay, weird answer. If you can just take me back to the time Velocicoaster before it officially opened my first rides, taking pictures of it then was a joy.
While you're in the queue,
Yeah, and not for any specific time, just because like I was finally there. I just
I
liked that.
remember. I don't.
You got photo overflow.
Yeah,
all at
I don't
once.
remember what I was doing that day, but all I know is that my phone was blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it's Chris. Oh, it's more from Chris. Oh, there's more. And then I purposely ignored it because I knew what it was. Because I knew as soon as I started looking at it, I was going to be doomed and look at it for a while.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, okay, honestly though, like one of my favorite things this summer was when you and I got in line for Velocicoaster for the first time, and you watched me. I was like a kid in a candy store taking pictures of it before we'd even ridden it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a really good ride to photograph. But
It
yeah,
really is.
we don't gotta ramble. You didn't even take too many photos of the first half of the ride with all the rocks and everything,
No,
did
I
you?
didn't. I took like 4,000 pictures that day, and I maybe have 100 of the first half.
Yeah.
it's
You'll get back
slightly,
there eventually, so
it's slightly ridiculous. It's yeah.
yeah. Okay. 2 more questions from Bryant. If you could pick one celebrity to ride a roller coaster with, who would it be? I got 2 different answers. One, Tom Brady, just so that I could meet Tom Brady. And two, Mick Foley, just because, he's somewhat of a theme park guy himself. I'd be curious to see his opinions, actually talk to somebody about the rides that has, somewhat of a influence himself. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm actually got two answers too, kind of down the same line. My first choice would be Chipper Jones, the legendary third baseman for the Atlanta Braves. Always wanted to meet him, and riding a roller coaster with him sounds like fun. And then second answer would be Neil Patrick Harris, also a huge theme park guy. Does the candlelight processional and all of that, and I think riding a roller coaster with him would be awesome. It's like, what
Hmm.
do you think? It's like, what do you, this very famous person, think of this very famous roller coaster? That's a conversation I would love to have.
Yeah. Um, y- I could name a bunch of famous people just to meet, but
Oh, we could go on all day
yeah,
with
the
that, but
legit
those would be,
answer is Mick Foley for me.
yeah. Also, like, he's famous. We said this on the Snapshots Made Yesterday podcast with Justin when we went on that. Walt Disney, taking him to a
Hmm.
Disney park would be insane.
Yes, it would be. I'd love to do that, but
Get a time machine, go back, and just kidnap him and be like, Walt, you're coming with us.
yeah, that'd be sick. Okay, last question from Mikhail. In the spirit of Jack's new favorite pastime, which is designing movie posters, which coaster or coasters do you think would make for the best movie posters? I'm saying Mystic Timbers because you could do cool stuff with the shed and the tree and all that.
Okay, so first of all, Mikhail, bold of you to assume it's a new favorite pastime. I've been doing this for a lot longer than a lot of people know. Chris knows how long I've been doing it.
Hmm.
um, bold of you to assume it's new. So I've designed for a lot of rides at this point. I've done Velocicoaster posters, Time Traveler. I did one for Chris a couple years ago. Um, in terms of, so the hardest thing about making fake movie posters, because this came up a couple nights ago. I was like, Mikhail had posted a bunch of cool pictures. Like, oh, I could turn that into a cool movie poster. And the hardest thing about making a fake movie poster is you don't get a story. Um, which makes it hard to like dictate what should be on the poster. And so with roller coasters, it gets a little easier because you've actually got like some source material to work with and a story. And so the one that I've always played with, I've never been able to come up with a good idea, and I usually don't act unless I have a good idea. Is a like Battle of Frontier Town movie poster. So the
Hmm.
Maverick versus the trio from Steel Vengeance rivalry. Like, what would that look like? I've always thought that would be a cool poster to do, but I've never come up with an idea that's worked. But then in terms of just designing for rides in general, Velocicoaster is a ton of fun to do anything with. So I love doing a Velocicoaster poster or Velociposter, if you will. Um, Other rides that I think, like Chris said, Mystic Timbers has got a great thing to work with. I was thinking Orion would be fun to work with just because it's got like that whole space vibe and like end of the world doomsday
Yeah.
type thing. Any ride that's got like a flashy storyline like that would work. But then also just in terms of like pure fun to design for, literally anything made by RMC, B&M, Intamin, GCI, or CCI in the last however many years would be so much fun to work with. because they all look cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
they really could go on all day. I will say, okay, if you've got the one you think I should do, drop it in the photography and art thing in the Discord. I'm working on something for Allison right now, so it won't happen immediately. But if you give me a good idea, I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. That was questions.
Yeah.
So, on to the second half of the show. Jack, you got a little bit of Carowin stuff?
Yeah, real quick, just gonna hit on my Carowinds trip from a couple weekends ago. We went over to Carowinds with our friends David and Greg. Plug that episode from way back in season 1 if you want to get to know a bit about David. And we went over there. We got some Fury and Copperhead goodness, some hot goodness. Scarowinds remains my favorite regional theme park event by far. I love going to that park for the Halloween season. It's so much fun. Didn't get to ride a ton because it was busy, but we still had a really good time. The big thing I want to hit here is a tip for any of you that might be going to Carowinds before Haunt's over. So Carowinds closes for 2 hours between Carowinds and Scarowinds, and in that 2 hours, you've got to find something to do. You can go sit in your car, you can leave and go get food. The big thing we've noticed over the years is that if you leave to go get food, you're going to wait in about an hour line to get out of the Carowinds parking lot. Then, however long it takes you to get food, and then you're going to sit in about an hour and a half line to get back into the Carowinds parking lot. So, my advice for anyone going to Scarowinds or going to Carowinds, park before, like, get there before the park closes for normally, and park. Even if you go in, great. If you don't, still you're in the parking lot. Then walk over to the Cracker Barrel or Culver's. It's like a 10-minute walk, and you'll go over there. You'll eat. You walk back over. You're in. It's nice and easy. If you like, the line to park was down the Carowinds driveway and then hanging like a 180 up onto the 77 ramp. It was like an hour and a half line to get parked. So yeah, walk to get dinner. That's my advice. That's really the moral of the story. But other than that, Carowinds is great. Can't wait to go back next season and ride Fury more.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. Well, let's get into something a little bit different. All right, so what we are doing is a bit of a draft. So the way this is going to work, we have, I believe, 9 different categories of like a type of roller coaster, and we're going to be sticking to ones that we have ridden, and basically at the end of it, we will see whose park is best. There will be a way to vote in the Discord. So once again, join that, vote on whose park is better. But yeah, each of us picks one thing for each category. As long as it fits the bill, it counts, and we've ridden it. And then we compare at the end. We've done something similar like this with Bryant one episode where we just had free reign, but this whittles it down a little bit more to an actual draft style. So I have a coin ready to be flipped. I will be heads, Jack will be tails. That will determine who gets to pick first, and then we'll serpentine draft. Sound good to you?
yeah.
All right. I'm ready to flip. And I said I am heads, right? Yeah, I'm heads.
Yes, you're heads.
Flipping. It is tails. So, sir, would you like to go first or second?
I defer to you.
Defer to me. I see why he did that. Okay. Our first category is the hypercoaster category. I gotta think.
Oof. Oh,
Fury doesn't count, right?
Fury does not count. It has to be under 299 feet tall.
Welcome to the squad, Skyrush at
Dang it.
Welcome, Skyrush. I know Steel
Welcome
Vengeance
to
would probably be
Skyrush.
the popular choice if I was just trying to get votes, but Skyrush is way better. Fight me.
And I'm taking Phantom's Revenge off the table. Which spells, yeah, the Battle of the Pennsylvania Hypers right there.
Okay, Phantom. I'm surprised he didn't take Steel Vengeance, honestly. Or Mako. All right, but I see you.
I know. I could have gone with a lot of options there, and I went for Phantom's Revenge.
Yeah. Interesting. So, next category.
Are we snaking it? So I get yeah.
Yeah, you get to go.
Next one's modern wooden coasters. There's only one option.
This is why he deferred.
I'm taking the one, the only Voyage at Holiday World. Thank you.
Well, I have an easy choice then, because the only thing that could possibly compete at all with Voyage is El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure.
Yeah, it's a good choice. I knew you would go with that one, but I know which one I wanted.
Those two were going to be taken, and whoever got the first pick was going to take Voyage. We all knew that. Our next choice is RMC's.
This could get interesting.
This is a tough one. I don't want to spoil anything, so one ride is already ruled out for me.
I know which one I'm taking, and it's not. Assuming you don't take it,
I am going to take Lightning Rod at Dollywood so that I can have an extra element. I've got the launched wooden coaster. I've got the terrain. It gives me some more uniqueness in my lineup, something different. I'll do it.
That's the one you expected me to take?
I was thinking about taking it. I wasn't. The easy choice would obviously be Steel Vengeance, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm going with Iron Rattler at Fiesta Texas, a ride that grew on me a ton this year. And honestly, the more I look back on like the rides we had on it, the more I fall in love. And it's been like 9 months since we rode it, and it's still like every time I think about it, I'm like, you know what?
It climbs up in the rankings every once in a while still from those rides for me.
It's like, you know what? I really love that ride. So I'm gonna go with Iron Rattler. But you know what would be great if they RMC'd it? What if they RMC'd it? What if they RMC'd it?
None of y'all will know. Okay, next category, the classic wooden coaster.
Okay, question. What are we defining as a classic wooden coaster? Like, is there a year cutoff or a manufacturer?
I'd say stick to primarily CCI and PTC.
Gotcha. I'm taking this one.
I'd say Ghost Rider doesn't count because it got GCI'd. I'm gonna assume. Yep. I see that was GCI'd. I can't count that, sir. All the other CCIs, you got free reign.
Can I have this one, even though it's like a Frankenstein of track?
We'll count it, sure.
I'm taking Tremors at Silverwood, my favorite CCI.
Good, because that means I get Phoenix at Knoebels.
Bryant will understand.
Favorite classic, better than any CCI I've done, honestly. Sorry, sir, but I love Phoenix. It is so good. So I'm wearing a shirt right now.
I'm very interested. Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this next one goes.
This is easy for me, and that is the invert category, and I'm taking Montu.
Dang it.
I know it's the crowd pleaser favorite to all of you who are voting, but it genuinely is my favorite. I love it so much. It's huge. The layout's amazing. It runs great. Easy favorite invert. Easy.
And I can't take the other one because I haven't frickin' ridden it.
What you going with?
You this is denying everything I stand for.
I knew it. He's just going for your votes, people. He's not standing by what he believes. You know he hates this ride, but he's still taking it just to get you fanboys' votes.
I'm going with Banshee for no specific reason whatsoever.
Yeah. My candidate is fake. Vote me. Fake. All right. Loopers.
Give me the Incredible Hulk, please.
Time to pull up Google Sheets. Because we never said it had to be B&M, sir.
No, but can you name a better looper than a B&M?
Maybe.
If you put Carolina Cyclone, you've automatically got my vote.
Nah. I don't know if this counts or not. I'm going to type it in and see what you say. If not, then I have my answer.
Oh.
Hmm?
Oh. I'm not sure. Hmm. I'll let you have it.
Okay, then my looper is Cannibal at Lagoon. It adds a whole new dynamic to the park. It does more than just have inversions and loops. With the Beyond Vertical Drop, only lap bars, uniqueness with the elevator lift. Just saying, Cannibal's a good option. Okay, next up, we have the classic steel category. This is going to be primarily arrows. And
Arrows
for
and
me,
Schwarzkopfs.
I am going with Loch Ness Monster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Iconic. Interlocking loops, location, uniqueness. The definition of a classic.
And I'm going with our guilty pleasure ride, Carolina Cyclone.
That's all good with me. Loch
I mean,
Ness, I'll take it.
that drop, those loops, the corkscrews, the heel. Oh, I love Carolina
Now,
Cyclone. I'm
most of
super
you who
sad
are
I didn't get
voting
to
don't
ride
like it.
I'm super sad I didn't get to ride it.
It's all good.
So next up is the multi-launch. There's two options here. There's really two options for a world-class multi-launch, and I'm going with this one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I'll leave you the other one. I'm gonna take Maverick at Cedar Point. My favorite ride at Cedar Point. It's phenomenal. If we haven't already talked about it enough this season, then you obviously haven't listened that much.
Right. So there is one that I was thinking about taking here, but I think I can get it later on down the line. So I'm going to stick with the basic answer and go with Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. A ride that is better than Maverick, in my opinion, and I know Jack agrees. A ride that
I
has
do
amazing
agree, but I
theming
wanted Maverick. I wanted Maverick.
for the fanboy votes. Velocicoaster, incredibly intense, does everything right. 10 out of 10 ride. It's my multi-launch.
Yeah. Would you shoot me if I took the multi-launch you want in the wild card category? Because I
No,
will
because
have
then
that
I'd
option.
just take your wild card category, buddy, and we'd be equal. And mine would probably get more favorites from the voters. So do as you please. Family coaster category. My pick. What do I want to go with here? See, what are we defining as a family coaster? Because there's two that I'm thinking of that might be a little much.
Mine trains, multi-launches that are exuberant.
So does this count?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was referring to. Yeah, you can. That one. Yeah, I should.
Okay.
Should,
My
yeah.
pick. Hagrid's
Yeah.
Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Also at Islands of Adventure. Surprisingly intense for family coaster. Great story. Pretty good. And I think I have a feeling you're like, I think I know what you're going to go with because it was my second option. Let's see. Wow. What?
What did
I'm
you
just going
think
to
I
type
was?
in what I was thinking. You
Okay.
might want to change your mind, but
Oh.
nope, too late, buddy.
Nope, I didn't say it out loud.
Oh, too late, buddy.
Nope.
You typed it in there. You typed it in there.
You're the only person who saw that. This is what it said all along, right? You still have the better option here,
Go
so
ahead.
you can't get too mad.
Just go.
For Bolton at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, the best coaster at that park. Sorry, not sorry.
True.
Yeah, for Bolton, which is just Junior Hagrid's.
Originally, he had Fire Chaser.
Thanks.
You're welcome. He cheated. See, look, he's changing his opinions.
I did not cheat.
Anyways,
You cheated for me.
Last category is wild card. This can be pretty much anything.
And I'm going with T3. No, I'm kidding. I'm going with X2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think everyone could guess that Chris is going to go with Oscar's Wacky Taxi.
Yes. Mine is Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City. I guess if we really wanted to, one of us could have gone Fury, but like this was something that we wanted to have more like the gimmick uniqueness type category.
Also, an excuse to put our number ones from last season on this list.
Mm-hmm. Foreshadowing. Anyways,
They could be our number ones this season.
they could
You
be.
never know.
Let's
But,
read
yeah,
through the teams.
Yeah, let's run through them real quick. So in my park, you've got Phantom's Revenge, The Voyage, Iron Rattler, Tremors, Banshee, The Incredible Hulk, Carolina Cyclone, Maverick, Verbolten, and X2.
And on my team, you've got Skyrush, El Toro, Lightning Rod, Phoenix, Montu, Cannibal, Loch Ness Monster, Velocicoaster, Hagrid, and Time Traveler.
So I think these both have parts of them that work really, really, really well. I think they're really good matchups. And yeah, so with this, what we'll do is we're going to put them up in the Discord on Wednesday morning. If we forget, remind one of us. We both do have lives and, school and all of that. So we'll put them up for vote on Wednesday morning. We'll leave it up through the week, and then next week we'll open the show up and we'll reveal who won. We'll put the lists out there too, so you don't have to listen through a million times, although you should listen through a million times if you really want to. And yeah, whichever one of us wins, and whichever one of us loses. And no, we are not doing a bet of any sort because we're both broke college kids that don't feel like spending money.
Yep. Thanks for listening, people. Once again, join everything in the description. Plugs, Discord, Patreon, Allison's book, Bryant, everything.
Buy calendars if you want calendars. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. All of the wonderful stuff. And we will see you next week.
That's right.
Thanks for listening to the Twisted Travelers Podcast.